All right, YouTube, what is going on? It is Zaya here from Zaya&TheSteelers back with another video. And in today's video, we got to talk about the potential safeties that are coming to Pittsburgh, man. This whole list. So before we get into it, if you are a Steelers fan or you enjoy NFL content in general, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 500 subscribers. Thank you to the past subscribers, and thank you to all the future subscribers, man. And so I bring up a Denzel Washington meme to start this video, and it's from I'm Around the Way, man. I'm leaving with something. So if you guys haven't heard already, the Steelers have released safety Keanu Neal with a failed physical, which is interesting. Keanu Neal, I thought he played solid. He gave us a good year. Obviously, no Terrell Edmonds. It wasn't even just Neal. We had a few people out there at that other safety position, and I thought he played solid, like I said. But it was something that was like, all right, if we can upgrade the safety position, let's upgrade the safety position. To me, I didn't think we even really had to go, deep and get rid of Terrell Edmonds, especially for what he signed with in Philly. I believe with Philly, he didn't sign for anything crazy. I thought we could have just kept him and, it's whatever. But now here we are, now 2 seasons in the future. And fam, every safety in the NFL is available. Literally, we got from all-pro Pro Bowlers and Justin Simmons to solid players with Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, CJ GJ, Quandre Diggs, former good players like Jamal Adams, who maybe still has some in the tank, but at one point Jamal Adams was Jamal Adams. We even got somebody from Pitt in Jordan Whitehead. This is a full NFL roster of available safeties, and 90% of them are pretty good. And so I refer back to the Denzel Washington meme. I put Omar Khan in that same seat. I'm leaving with something, man. We have to get one of these guys, especially now with Keanu Neal leaving / being released. He's not leaving on his own terms, I guess. But, it is what it is. We talked about Justin Simmons very early in the season when the Denver Broncos were kind of falling apart, and it was like, all right, they should just go fire sale. They stuck it out. They won exactly enough games to not make the playoffs and get rid of their $200 million quarterback, who, by the way, is meeting with the Steelers later. They did all that, and so they didn't want to, get rid of Justin Simmons then at the time. Now they have cut him. They have released him. That cap hit was too much. And so, theoretically, right, and this is for Justin Simmons and all these people, theoretically, we're not attached to the number that he is making currently. If he wanted to be a Steeler and we didn't have the cap space to exactly max him out, because we do have the highest paid defense in the league. If we didn't want to max him out per se, but if he was feeling the combination with him and Minka, if he was feeling the black and gold, if he was feeling the steel curtain, if he was feeling Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season, and lastly, if he was feeling like playing for Kenny Pickett or Russell Wilson again, man, he would get on the phone and be like, bruh, I will play for whatever you can afford me as, because I want to be a Steeler. And theoretically, like I said, this is all theorized. We could make that happen, man. And honestly, not even just Justin Simmons. There are some safeties on here, I don't want to say Jordan Poyer, but at this point in life, Jordan Poyer probably is going to make a decent chunk, but I think can be affordable for our current cap situation. Now I bring it back to the hottest topic in the Steelers world, the hottest topic in the NFL. What in the hell are we going to do at quarterback? I know we need to save the money for potentially a quarterback. I know we need to save the money for potentially, somebody on the old line. It's kind of like a mix of who's going to come first. A good center, a good tackle. There are some good centers. There are some good tackles, or a good safety, or some good corners in free agency. It's all about what we choose to address here versus in the draft. If we get a safety now, we won't have to take one kind of later in the draft, Same thing with a corner. If we get a corner now, that's pretty good. Maybe we don't have to use an early round pick on a corner. If we get a center, maybe we don't use an early round pick on a center. So, it just kind of is a chain. It's kind of all right, we do this, we don't got to do this. We do this, we don't got to do this. To me, with the safety class, I don't think outside of Cameron Kitchens, Kevon Bullard, and maybe a few other prospects that I'm kind of just forgetting about, within that first maybe, let's say 4 or 5 rounds, it's maybe we take one, but just with the needs that we have, why would we use one of our picks on a safety, right? Even though clearly, we kind of do need the position, but it's just not as as needed as maybe the center position is, because we can go get a Keanu Neal, no offense, not too much on Keanu Neal, but we can go get a Keanu Neal, and it's all right, Terrell Edmonds, who, all right, we're kind of vibing, we're kind of rocking, I get it. Or, and this is a big or, we could just go get another defensive playmaker, another splash play machine. And it's like, man, we just improved on the highest paid defense without having to go too crazy. Like I said, some of the names on here, like Justin Simmons, unless he's feeling the black and gold, probably gonna get maxed out. We probably would have to go a little crazy to get Justin Simmons. Other than Justin Simmons, though, some safeties on this list who I think maybe we can go after. As I mentioned earlier, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. I think these two would be solid for us. Kevin Byard, I believe, was on the Titans when Arthur Smith was there. Not necessarily like because Arthur Smith is our offensive coordinator, but maybe that means something. Quandre Diggs is another player. I mentioned Jamal Adams too, who's maybe like a little past his prime at this point, but hey man, maybe he can help us out in the run department. And then lastly, just Jordan Whitehead, of course, the Pitt connection. But Jordan Whitehead, I think, is a solid player. He was on the Jets, and I want to say was on like Tampa Bay at one point. Maybe I'm bugging. Maybe it wasn't him, but Tampa Bay had a Pitt safety at one point, so maybe it was Jordan Whitehead. If I'm bugging, let me know. But yeah, I don't want to say any, but 90% of this list we could sign. Like, 90, not we could sign, but 90% of this list, if we signed, I would be happy. And it's like, bruh, like the highest paid defense, man, we're so back. And so, yeah, we'll have to see what we end up doing. But the safety position to me is now like I don't want to say a need, but like is now something where it's like, all right, we got to get somebody in there, right? Like we have to get one of these safeties. One of them has to be a Steeler. And so we will see what ends up happening. Really, that's it for this topic. But there is one more thing I did want to kind of discuss before I get out of here, just because, it is the hottest topic. It is the hottest story that keeps on telling. Russell Wilson, and I'm not going to be able to expand on it, I don't think, for today. So if anything, if we sign Russell Wilson today, I'm not going to know and be able to talk about it till tomorrow or something. So we're set to meet with Russell Wilson, according to Gary Duloc. And this is the only Steelers Nation reporting this. It's not only Gary. Like I've seen, it's kind of real. I'm not mad at it. I'm really not mad at it. I know I've had my reservations. I've had my dying on the Kenny Pickett hill. But Russell Wilson to me makes the most sense, and Russell Wilson makes like the only sense to me, given his age versus contract, given his ability versus contract, given his current skill versus contract, and what we need. Everybody else, maybe outside of like Justin Fields too, and Baker Mayfield too, because everybody else like past that who's better, Kirk Cousins only, is unaffordable. And then so Justin Fields, Baker, and Russ, it's like, all right, maybe, just maybe, we can get something good out of this, Maybe, just maybe, one of these guys can do something. Russell Wilson a little older, Justin Fields younger, but just in terms of like legacy and all that stuff, I believe Russell Wilson, and actually I shouldn't say legacy, I'm sorry. But it is true, Russell Wilson just has like the former championships, but just in terms of like play now, in terms of ability now, like of course Justin Fields has like that running ability, but I still trust Russ as a passer more than I do Fields. And he has that experience. The only thing killing it is like, okay, in the locker room, Russ wasn't necessarily that guy. Teams have paid him $90 million to not play for them. This is a real thing that's happening with Russ. And so all signs are pointing to, hey man, maybe you just leave this one alone. But I do remember a younger Isaiah seeing Russ, and like I'm like, yo, he needs to be a Steeler, bro. We need to put him in that black and gold. And on top of that, like I said, he maybe possibly is willing to sign for like a really low contract, which would significantly help. Like anything that's not a really low contract like that, I think to me that kind of eliminates the potential of it all. If he wants a crazy deal, we might as well just stick it out with Kenny and then suck and then get a new quarterback. To me. And then other options, if we don't get Russ, if we don't get Justin, if we don't get Baker, is like Mason Rudolph again. And I know there's a lot of Steelers fans who love Mason Rudolph, but guys, we rolled him out before. We've done this over and over. It's just I don't think it's the move. If it is the move, let me know. But I don't think Mason Rudolph long term is the move. Ryan Tannehill, who had success with Arthur Smith at one point, but we're talking one playoff game 5 years ago, and Ryan Tannehill hasn't played like that in a while. At least 2-3 seasons, Ryan Tannehill hasn't played like that, in my opinion. And on top of that, too, like it just feels lateral. It feels like, all right, we're going to go from Kenny Pickett to Ryan Tannehill. To me, feels lateral. Maybe that's slanderous because Kenny, the stats, he's only had 10 touchdowns in 100 years. I get it. But I still feel that way. I still feel like Ryan Tannehill, Kenny Pickett, potato, close my eyes. Like, I don't know. I can't tell the difference, bro. I don't know. And so, yeah, I just think that's a little silly. Other names who, like Mac Jones, like I think that's a little silly. Zach Wilson, I think that's a little silly. Fucking Sam Darnold, think that's a little silly. Johnny Manziel, think that's a little silly. Russell Wilson to me is like one of the only candidates that makes sense, given with how good we kind of are, but how good we've yet to be. We need that cap space. We need the draft assets too to really like cross the T's, dot the I's. And so Russell Wilson for the low. Hey man, if he wants to be a Steeler, if he wants to pull up, I'm with it. But you know, not too much on Kenny Pickett. This isn't about look, you see this comment. This comment has been here this whole time. Austin Porter. Kenny is getting traded to Philly for a bag of chips, bro. Like this is what I'm talking. Like a bag of chips, Kenny Pickett, a bag of chips. Like really? We had 7 wins with the guy. Mason Rudolph comes in, he puts up 30 twice, and it's like all of that is excused. Mason, big trust, bro. They used to talk about you in this same way, bro. They used to go out and get Mitchell Trubisky because they had you on the roster, Mason. Like I'm seeing all the love and I get it. It's great for you, Mason. But hey, man, that is the truth of the situation. That is like, the forgotten context. The forgotten context was we drafted Kenny Pickett and signed Mitchell Trubisky with Mason Rudolph on the roster because we just didn't feel like he was him. Now he's him, man. Now he's him. So I don't know. I don't know what the actual plan is. But man, shout out to Kenny Pickett, shout out to Mason, shout out to Russ, and shout out to all the safeties that are about to be on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that is going to do it for me for this video. If you guys ended up enjoying, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. Let me know who you guys think is going to be the Steelers starting safeties next year. Let me know who you guys think the Steelers starting quarterback is going to be next year. And for shits and giggles, let me know who the Steelers starting punter is going to be next year. Anyways, that's it out of me. Peace out, and see you in the next video.